Welcome to the presentation on information asset classification and prioritization. This presentation will cover the importance of information asset classification, threats, vulnerabilities, risk analysis, user domain analysis, system application, and recommendation. Information asset classification and prioritization involves categorizing our valuable resources based on their importance and sensitivity. The classification process helps us prioritize our efforts and allocate resources effectively. Information asset classification includes membership data such as personal information, contact details, membership records, financial data, which includes the payment details, transactions, and banking records. Intellectual properties such as trainings, materials, creative works, and operational systems such as ticketing, scheduling, and communication platforms. Threats, vulnerabilities, and risk analysis. To break down ASD's infrastructure into 7 domains such as user, workstation, LAN, LAN to WAN, remote access, and system application. To explain each domain has been analyzed to identify potential threats and vulnerabilities which is associated with the risk. An example of threats in each domain such as social engineering, malware infections, network inflation, and software vulnerabilities. User domain analysis. User domain analysis involves evaluating the role and responsibilities of individuals accessing the information assets. This analysis helps identify potential risk associated with user access privileges and their impact on information security. System application and recommendation. Regular training and awareness programs for staff and members regarding information security are best practices. Conducting periodic risk assessments and vulnerability scans to identify address, emergencies, and threats. Implementing strong access controls and authentication routines to ensure authorized access only. Keeping softwares and systems up to date with the latest patches and security updates. To be concluded, information asset classification, threats, vulnerabilities, and risk assessment are crucial for protecting all stars dance clubs operations and preventing potential damages. By prioritizing and implementing appropriate security measures, we can safeguard our valuable information assets effectively.
ISO 27001. ISO 27001 is a global standard for establishing, implementing, maintaining, and constantly improving an information security management system. Also, it sets out the criteria for identifying, assessing, managing information security risks within an organization, and it helps enterprises ensure the security, integrity, and availability of their information assets, which include customer data, intellectual property, and private data. Achieving ISO 27001 certification demonstrates an organization's commitment to managing information security risks effectively and building trust with its stakeholder. Also, here are the implementation steps for ISO 27001, which are organize a team for implementation, create a plan for implementation, launch the ISMS, scope identification, establish a foundation for security, implement risk control system, manage risk management strategy, assess, monitor, and evaluate, and the last one is obtain the certification. The next slide is about NIST framework. NIST framework is a widely used collection of principles and best practices for managing and enhancing organizational cybersecurity, as it provides a flexible, adaptable approach to cybersecurity risk management and also allows organizations to assess and prioritize their cybersecurity efforts based on their specific needs and risks. The NIST structure has 5 main functions, which are identity, protect, detect, respond, and recover. These roles helps organizations in the development of a complete cybersecurity program. By following the NIST framework, organizations can enhance their resilience against cyber threats, improve their incident response capabilities, and effectively protect their critical assets and information systems. And this slide is about steps for NIST framework implementation. And the step one is determine what you want to achieve. Step two is create a profile. And the step three is analyze where you are now. And step four is create a plan based on the results of a gap analysis. And the last step is implementation. The next slide is about considerations for choosing a framework for all star dance. So the alignment with regulatory requirements and industry standards, organizational risk management approach and priorities, specific industry or sector requirements, resource availability and implementation complexity. And we have got the reasons for selection of NIST framework for all star dance. So alignment with national and international standards and regulations, emphasis on risk assessment and management, flexibility and adaptability to varying organizational needs, and comprehensive framework covering cybersecurity functions and activities. And Sai is about the references that I took to do my tasks. Thank you so much for giving an opportunity to do this presentation. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Dipyan Kapade and I am here to provide a presentation on the topic that how to improve our IT infrastructure. In the given report, we have to provide a infrastructure for a dance club, in which I have provided you a diagram in which we can see the authorized user or the main user or the admin have protected by firewall as well as VPN, but all other user are in the box. If any of the user can get attacked, then the attacker cannot get access to our admin to all the resources of our network. For that we have provided two cells in this diagram. We can also use some measures to improve our IT infrastructure, in which first of all is the security mechanisms, which include firewall, VPN, as well as intrusion detection system. The firewalls protect us from the threat and authorized access. VPN provide us the secure remote access to the network and protect our data transmission. And the intrusion detection system provide us protection from malicious activity or unauthorized access attempt on our in our IT infrastructure. We can use software and hardware security control to improve our IT infrastructure, in which we need to have authentication and authentication that we need to verify our users identity, and authentication that determine the what access base the authenticated identity will have. We also need to have role based access control, in which we need to provide a user particular role, so he can only access that much of resources of our IT infrastructure. As well as we need to have regular software updates, so we can provide our system more security. And we also need to have some physical measure to provide us a protection to our physical assets, like physical locks and security camera. Also we need to create a restricted access area for our different users. We also need to have different kind of policy and data securities. We need to have information security policies, and also we need to create and train our staff. We need to uh, train and aware our staff about different kind of attack that can happen on our system or on our IT infrastructure. As well as we need to have a response plan, that if any incident happen, we can respond according to that plan. As well as we need to create a data classification, in which all the data are classified, so only the particular level of the user can access that data. And we also need to create a backup and restore our data. In any chance if we lose our data, we need to have a data backup, so we can restore that easily. Also, the storage solution and access control can help us to improve our IT infrastructure, in which we can use two kind of storage. One is on-site storage and second is cloud storage. In cloud storage, it will be stored and encrypted, as well as it will have its backup. But if any reason we cannot access the cloud storage, we need to have our sensitive data on our side storage as well, so we can access that data in any emergency. We also need to manage our user account and the privilege access we have provided. Provided, so all user cannot access all the resources. Only some particular user are able to access the particular resources. We also need to have a firewall policies uh, which observe our ongoing and outgoing traffic, and also block the unauthorized traffic which are coming in our way. As well as we need to have a secure email security, in which we need to protect our email ID and the password for our employee and ourselves as well. To improve our customer services, we need to have three things. First is acceptability, second is scalability, and third is sustainability. In acceptability, we need to have psychological acceptability and economical acceptability. In economical acceptability, we need to make sure that we don't go over our